Welcome back to the channel BBC Coin. Today, we are diving into one of the most talked about coins among collectors, the 1977 Liberty 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary penny. But what if I told you that under the right conditions, this small copper coin could be worth serious money, even starting around $1,200 or more in rare cases? Let's uncover the truth. The 1977 1-cent coin belongs to the famous Lincoln Memorial Series, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. This design was created by Victor David Brenner and remained in circulation for decades, making it one of the most recognized coins in the United States. Now here's something important. If your 1977 penny has no mint mark, that doesn't mean it's an error. It simply means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In fact, billions of these coins were produced that year, over 4.4 billion to be exact. So at this point, you might be thinking, wait, if there are billions of them, how can it be valuable? That's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Even though millions or billions were made, only a tiny fraction survive in perfect condition. And in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Most 1977 no-mint mark pennies you'll find today are only worth a few cents. In circulated condition, they usually sell for just a little above face value. But when you step into the world of high-grade coins, especially those graded MS-67 or MS-68, everything changes. Collectors are willing to pay huge premiums for coins that look almost exactly the same as the day they were minted. Bright, shiny, flawless surfaces, no scratches, no discoloration, full red copper luster. And here's the shocking part. Some high-grade 1977 no-mint mark pennies have reached values in the thousands of dollars at auctions. In fact, rare top-condition examples have approached nearly $3,000 depending on their grading and color quality. That's right, a coin that was once worth just 1 cent could now be worth more than a brand-new smartphone. So when you hear people say a 1977 penny could be worth $1,200, they are not entirely wrong, but there's a catch. That value only applies to extremely rare, high-quality specimens or unique era coins. Now let's talk about another factor that can skyrocket the value: mint errors. Mint errors are mistakes that happen during the coin production process. And collectors love them. Some known errors in 1977 pennies include double strikes, off-center designs, and the famous BIE error, where a small line appears between the letters B and E in the word Liberty. These errors might seem small, but they can significantly increase the coin's value. Some error coins sell for anywhere between a few dollars to hundreds, depending on rarity and visibility. But the real jackpot comes when you combine both factors: a high-grade coin and a rare error. That's when prices can climb into the 4-digit range. Imagine finding one of these hidden gems in your old coin jar. It sounds unbelievable, but it happens more often than you think. Collectors around the world are constantly searching through pocket change, old collections, and inherited coin boxes, hoping to discover that one rare piece that changes everything. So how can you tell if your 1977 penny is valuable? Start by checking the surface. Does it still have a bright reddish shine? Or has it turned dull brown? Coins are often categorized by color: red, red-brown, or brown. Red coins, which retain their original copper color, are the most valuable. Next, look closely for any unusual features. Do the letters appear doubled? Is the design slightly off-center? Are there strange marks that look like minting mistakes? Even small details can make a big difference. Today we are talking about the 1983 Liberty 1-cent coin, especially the mysterious 1983 D penny and the no-mint mark version, coins that have shocked collectors around the world. And here's the crazy part. Some of these coins have been valued starting from $1,200 and even higher, but only if you know what to look for. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might want to check your own pocket change. First, let's understand what makes the 1983 penny so special. In 1983, the United States Mint made a major change. For decades, pennies were made mostly of copper. But due to rising costs, the mint switched to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. This might sound like a small change, but in the world of coin collecting, it created one of the most exciting opportunities ever. Because whenever there is a transition, mistakes happen. And those mistakes are where the real money is. Now let's talk about the two main types. White right pointing backhand index, the 1983 D penny. White right pointing backhand index, the 1983 penny with no mint mark. The D means it was minted in Denver. No mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. At first glance, both look completely normal. In fact, billions of these coins were made. So normally, they are worth just 1 cent. Yes, just 1 cent. But here's where things get interesting. Some rare versions of these coins are not normal. And these rare versions are what collectors are hunting for. Let's break them down. Moneybag 1. The rare copper 1983 penny. Remember the transition from copper to zinc? Well, a few coins were accidentally made using the old copper planchets. These coins weigh around 3.1 grams instead of 2.5 grams. And guess what? These rare copper pennies can sell for $10, $000, $20, $000, even more depending on condition. That's not just a coin. That's a treasure. Moneybag 2. Double die errors. Now imagine this. The coin is struck twice, but slightly misaligned. This creates a visible doubling effect on the text, especially on words like liberty or 1 cent. These are called double die errors. And they are highly valuable. Some 1983 double die pennies have sold for $290 to over $8,500. Yes, from 1 cent to thousands. Moneybag 3. Off-center and strike errors. Sometimes, the coin is not properly aligned during minting. This creates a design that looks shifted or incomplete. These are called off-center errors. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these coins can be worth anywhere from $500 to $4,000 or more. Collectors love imperfections, because imperfections mean rarity. Moneybag 4. Repunched mint marks and missing details. On some 1983 D coins, the mint mark may appear doubled or distorted. In rare cases, parts of the design may be weak or missing. While some minor errors are common and not valuable, certain rare ones can reach $1,000 to $3,000 depending on rarity. Now let's address something very important. You may have heard people say, 1983 D penny with no mint mark worth $1,200. But here's the truth. A regular 1983 penny, even in good condition, is usually worth only a few cents to a few dollars. So if someone tells you every 1983 penny is worth $1,200, that's simply not true. The real value depends on 3 key things. White right pointing backhand index condition. White right pointing backhand index rarity. White right pointing backhand index errors. Without these, it's just a normal coin. But with the right combination, it becomes a collector's dream. So how do you check if your coin is valuable? Here's a simple checklist. Heavy checkmark # check the weight. If it's around 3.1 grams, it could be copper. Heavy checkmark # look for doubling in letters, especially Liberty and 1 cent. Heavy checkmark # examine the mint mark. Is it clear? Is it doubled? Is it missing? Heavy checkmark # look for unusual shapes or misalignment. Heavy checkmark # never clean your coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. And here's a pro tip. Even if your coin looks normal, get it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because sometimes the most valuable coins look completely ordinary. Now imagine this. You're sitting at home. Today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins in modern American history, the 1984 Liberty 1 cent coin with no mint mark. This is not just any penny. This is a story of history, mystery, hidden errors, and surprising value that could change the way you look at every coin in your pocket. Let's begin. First, let's understand what makes the 1984 1 cent coin so special. This coin belongs to the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. By 1984, the coin featured Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. It may look ordinary, but its composition had already changed. Instead of being made mostly of copper like older pennies, the 1984 coin was made of copper-plated zinc, a shift that happened in 1982 due to rising copper prices. But here's where things get interesting. When you see a 1984 penny with no mint mark, many people assume it's rare. In reality, no mint mark simply means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. And guess what? Over 8 billion of these coins were produced in Philadelphia alone. So at first glance, this coin seems extremely common. But don't click away yet, because the real story begins where most people stop looking. Now let's talk about value. In general, a normal 1984 penny with no mint mark is worth only a few cents. In circulated condition, it might be worth just 1 cent to a few cents, and even in uncirculated condition, it typically ranges from a few cents to a couple of dollars. So how do we go from a 1 cent coin to a coin worth $1,200 or more? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and most importantly, mint errors. One of the most famous and valuable varieties of the 1984 penny is known as the double ear error. Yes, you heard that right. On this rare version, Abraham Lincoln appears to have a doubled earlobe, almost like he has 2 ears. This is caused by a minting error known as a double die obverse. And this tiny detail can change everything. Collectors around the world actively hunt for this error, and depending on its condition, this coin can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some examples have reached values from $100 to over $3,000, and in exceptional high-grade condition, even more. Now think about that. A coin that most people ignore could secretly be worth more than a smartphone. But wait, there's more. Condition plays a massive role in determining the value of your 1984 penny. Coins are graded on a scale from poor condition to perfect mint state. The higher the grade, the higher the value. For example, a coin in mint state with a bright red surface, known as red or road, can be worth significantly more than a dull brown coin. In fact, high-grade 1984 pennies without errors have sold for hundreds or even thousands simply because they are in near-perfect condition. Some ultra-high-grade examples have reached values of several $1,000s in auctions. So even if your coin doesn't have an obvious error, its condition alone could make it valuable. Now let's break down the key factors that determine whether your 1984 no mint mark penny could be worth $1,200 or more. Number 1. Check for errors. Look closely at Lincoln's ear. If you see doubling or an extra earlobe, you might have the famous double ear variety. This is the biggest jackpot feature for this coin. Number 2, examine the condition. Is your coin shiny and bright, or worn and dull? Coins with original red luster are far more valuable than those that have turned brown over time. Number 3, look for unusual features. Sometimes, coins can have other rare errors like die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual surfaces. While not all errors are valuable, some can significantly increase the coin's worth. Number 4, professional grading. If you believe your coin is special, sending it to a professional grading service can confirm its authenticity and assign it a grade. This can dramatically increase its market value. Now let's talk about the hype. You may have seen videos or posts claiming that every 1984 no-mint mark penny is worth thousands of dollars. That's simply not true. Most of these coins are extremely common and worth very little. The high values, like $1,200 or more, only apply to rare varieties, exceptional condition coins, or specific era types. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins in American history, the 1996 Liberty 1-cent coin. A coin that most people ignore, but collectors are hunting like treasure. And here's the shocking truth. Some versions of this coin have sold for over $1, $200, $2,000, even more. So before you spend that penny in your pocket, watch this video carefully. Because you might already own one. Let's start with the basics. The 1996 1-cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial Series, featuring the legendary President Abraham Lincoln on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial Building on the back. This design was used from 1959 to 2008, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. But what makes the 1996 penny special is not just its design. It's the hidden details. Now here's where things get interesting. There are two main types of 1996 pennies. One with a D mint mark, meaning it was made in Denver. And one with no mint mark, meaning it was made in Philadelphia. Many people think no mint mark means rare. But that's not always true. In fact, over 6.6 billion coins were produced without a mint mark in 1996 alone. Yes. Billion. So most of these coins are extremely common. So now you're probably thinking, if they are so common, how can they be worth $1,200 or more? The answer comes down to three powerful factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's talk about condition first. Most 1996 pennies you find in circulation are worn out, scratched, or discolored. Those coins, they are worth exactly 1 cent. Nothing more. But if you find a coin that looks brand new, shiny, perfect, never used, that's called an uncirculated coin. And suddenly, the value jumps. Some high-grade 1996 pennies can be worth anywhere from $2 to over $100 depending on their condition. But here's where it gets crazy. A nearly perfect 1996 D penny graded MS-69 sold for over $3,500 at auction. That's not a typo. A single penny, worth thousands. Now let's talk about the second factor, rarity. Even though billions were made, finding one in perfect condition is extremely rare. Coins get damaged during production, shipping, and everyday use. So collectors are willing to pay big money for coins that survived in flawless condition. It's like finding a brand new car from 1996 that was never driven. Rare, valuable, highly desired. But the real treasure lies in the third factor. Error coins. This is where things become truly exciting. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process. And collectors love mistakes. For the 1996 penny, some of the most valuable errors include the close AM error, where the letters A and M in America are closer together than normal. This rare variation can sell for $1,700 to $2,400 or more. Then there are double die errors, where the design appears slightly duplicated. These can also be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And don't forget off-center strikes, where the coin looks misaligned. Again, highly collectible. Now here's something important you need to understand. There is a lot of confusion online about 1996 D coins with no mint mark. Let me clarify this clearly. A coin cannot have both a D mint mark and no mint mark at the same time. If there is no mint mark, it is from Philadelphia. If there is a D, it is from Denver. Simple as that. But scammers and misleading videos often mix these terms to create hype. So always verify your coin carefully. Now let's talk about the big question everyone is asking. Is your 1996 penny worth $1,200? The honest answer is maybe. But only if it meets specific conditions. Your coin must be in extremely high grade, or have a rare minting error, or be professionally graded and verified. Because most normal 1996 pennies are still worth just 1 cent. Even circulated coins usually only sell for a few cents to a couple of dollars at most. So how can you check your coin? Here's what you should do right now. First, look under the date. Do you see a letter? If yes, it's a Denver coin. If not, it's Philadelphia. Second, check the condition. Is it shiny and clean? Or worn and damaged? Third, look closely for errors. Check the word America on the back. Look at Lincoln's face. Examine every detail carefully. Because tiny differences can mean huge money. And finally, if you think your coin is valuable, get it graded. Professional grading companies can confirm authenticity and assign a value. Without grading, it's very hard to sell for high prices. Now imagine this. You're going through your old coin jar. And suddenly you spot a 1996 penny. At first, it looks ordinary. But then you notice something unusual. Perfect shine. Sharp details. Or maybe a strange spacing in the letters.